Hey guys, this is your bite-sized nugget. These are ideas that are not quite a full podcast, but need to be said. So today I want to talk back to school. I know some of you are already back to school here on the Northeast. In the Northeast, we are headed back soon. And I wanted to talk about two things. Number one is after school restraint collapse. And this is what happens when your child has been good in school all day. They have followed the rules. They have completed their work. They have listened, been kind to their peers. And now they get home and they have absolute meltdowns with you. And it feels really crappy because you're like, wanting to connect with them and you haven't seen them all day and you want to hear about their day. But now they're in just chaos. They're just devolving with every minute. Now, the witching hours between 3 and 6 are always really hard for all kids, particularly the under 6-year-olds. But after school restraint collapse can happen to kids of all ages, particularly in the first couple of weeks of school. It is a lot, and academics is increasingly a lot. So going into the next grade brings more expectations, more structure. And for a lot of kids who are starting school, even if they've gone to preschool, those expectations and the structure of the day are exhausting. They've also probably been sitting a lot more than they were used to. So they're what I used to call wound up, wiped out, but a better term, I think, is tired but wired. So there's 3 things you can do to mitigate this and help with the meltdowns. Number 1, have really good food ready for them. If you have a long car ride, have it for the car ride. If you plan on going to a playground, have it in a lunchbox, but have solid, good, nutritious food, not just snacky snacks. Okay. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. The second thing is don't barrage them with questions. You will flood them emotionally. The worst 2 offenders are, how was your day and what did you learn? Stop saying those, okay? They're just too big a question. And, maybe you have a chatterbox who is like, my day was great, blah, 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 blah. But most kids will say, nothing, fine, stop talking. So stop talking. A better thing to do is, hey, I'm happy to see you. Would you like to listen to music on the way home? Or would you like it quiet? And just let them answer. And if it's music, just put on some music, put on their favorite playlist. I almost said CD. Do we do that anymore? I think it's just playlist now. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's a kid's podcast. So that's number 2. And number 3 is big play. Most kids need big play after school, again, because they've done a lot more sitting probably than they did over the summer, than they did in preschool or the year before. So make sure that they get a lot of big play. So if you can, head right to the playground. If you can't, maybe head home and do some wrestling really quick, some roughhousing, or if you have a yard, they can play out there. If you have a rumpus room or a throwing corner, just so they can get out some of their energy. They may have to expel vocal energy. There may be a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. The kids on the playground outside of Pascal's school when he was in kindergarten and first grade, oh my God, they were near psychotic after school. Like they were so wound up with all this pent up energy. And then other kids, depending on your kid, may really just need some downtime. Maybe if you have a little reading nook or a cave or a fort that they can go in and decompress, maybe they just want to be quiet. If you allow screen time, maybe this is the time for a quick show on the television, and that can sort of transition them to home. So you kind of have to gauge your kid, but I would say the majority of the kids need the big play. Now that brings us to our second big thing, which is early dinners. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I'm a huge advocate for early dinners, and that is between 3 and 4 p.m. And the reason is that is when most kids are starving, whether they're in school or not. 3 to 4 just happens to be like their eating rhythm. You know how we have like a circadian rhythm for sleep? For most kids, this eating rhythm is around 3 or 4 o'clock. What typically happens is we give them snacky snacks, maybe prepackaged something or a fruit or yogurt, something sweet, something starchy, and they fill up. Then dinner happens and they're not hungry, and dinner time becomes a battle. Now, I am not here to fix what's not broke. If your dinner times are lovely, everybody's sitting at the table, it's time for really good connection and table manners are being taught and everybody's considerate and it's lovely time. Rock the fuck on. I am so happy for you. Do not change a thing. But this is for the majority of people that I hear from. Dinners are an utter clusterfuck. And it is begging and pleading, and the kid is restless, and there is no connection time. Parents are losing their patience. It's just a disaster. So let's redo it. Okay, if something's not working, we can redo it. When you have dinner at 3 to 4 p.m., meaning the bulk of the food, whatever that looks like, it may not exactly be what you would be serving if you were sitting at the table all together. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just make sure you get your protein, your carb, and your fat. Like that's it. Just get your macronutrients. And if you do serve dinner at 3 to 4 p.m., the likelihood of your child trying new things because they're actually hungry is super high. I always suggest a snack plate or a snack board. Think charcuterie board for kids, but way simple. Don't go charcuterie nuts, okay? But a simple cutting board or even a plate with just a few items, a chunk of chicken, some carrots, half a banana, a little maybe sour cream or cheese or something like fatty. Anything like that, a pat of butter, get that fat in. You know how much I love that. Anything like that that they can just kind of munch on as they're decompressing is great. I literally just had a mom on Instagram say that she loves getting home and what she has is like the vegetables and fruit washed and she sets the kids to helping her cut them up and it sort of gives them a focus. It gives them a focus. They feel helpful. They're partaking and then they devour these snack plates across the board. That is what I hear. So it doesn't have to be fancy. If your child's in aftercare, you can just get a bento box, lunchbox, and you can do the same. Just have little bits of stuff so that they're getting that nutrition. And by getting their nutrition, guys, I just mean not snacky snacks, okay? And you know what I mean. That's hyperpalatable, prepackaged snacks. It doesn't have to be fancy. Okay. This doesn't have to be where they have to get 2 ounces of kale or spinach or whatever you think they need for like all these micronutrients. That is stuff with children. We look over the course of time. We don't try to do that every meal because their taste buds are rapidly changing. They also are moody as fuck and they're going to like not like the thing they liked yesterday. We know that. So just the little containers, those bento box, lunch boxes are amazing for that. And you can pack that for aftercare. You could also pack that if you plan on going to the playground afterwards. I find that 3 to 4 works best when nobody's glaring at them. It isn't the pressure to take one bite. There's no pressure to perform with like more, how was your day? How are things going? So it can be really low pressure. And this allows kids to have no anxiety about eating or food. And so it's just awesome. If you go online and Google this idea right now, I can guarantee you're going to pull up thousands of pages of parents who have done this, and it has been an utter game changer. I have never worked with a family for whom this didn't change everything. And what happens is that this helps by the time the last adult gets home, this lets everybody land softly. This is something I talked about in an earlier episode where that clusterfuck of everybody arriving home is hard. And sometimes it's both spouses and a babysitter's been watching the kids, or one of the spouses picked up the kid from daycare and got home and now the other spouse is coming in on 2 wheels. It's like, it's super intense. And so to try to cook, try to get a meal going and have your kids sit and have an enjoyable dinner is just ridiculous. And the other benefit to this is that you get this huge connection time with your kid, because if you're spending an hour or two preparing a meal with your kid watching something on TV or maybe even playing with the other spouse, and now you're sitting down and dinner time's a battle and now there's cleanup, you're going into bedtime with like zero connection, zero play. Having an earlier dinner allows for more play, connection, a family walk, family roughhousing, something like that, or maybe even a family show on the TV, So I highly encourage you to do this, especially if your child's entering a new, kind of formal school environment, because we want to make this time super low pressure. They've been pressurized all day. And so this will help with the after school restraint collapse, and it will help organize your meals better. Now, I always get some kickback because every study in the world has said that family dinners are key to not raising a sociopath. They're super integral to your child's mental health. And that is true, particularly in the later years when your child starts to get peer oriented. And what's wild to me is parents are forcing this with little ones. And then when it's time for family dinners, when family dinners would be the absolutely most beneficial, is when people choose to do things like travel sports or let sports take over their lives. They end up eating in the car, and their kids just kind of drift away because they're not having that family dinner time. So it's a really weird thing because people are so stringent about it in the early years when it's a clusterfuck and absolutely ineffective and not working. And then they lose it in the years where it really matters. So that's what I would say. Right now, in the 0 to 6 range, your job is to give your child the best opportunity to be the best version of themselves they can be. Okay. Think of that when you're setting up anything. And so if something is being set up where your child is not the best version of themselves, change it. Change it to suit your child's needs. It's not always going to be this way. Okay. All right. Happy back to school, guys. That's all. Bye.